Hello, welcome to Smart Investing. Let's start with the market update of the closure of the US market. So, okay, let's start with QQQ. QQQ, now we are at 422. We actually reached the level of 400, which is a very strong support. We have erased all the 2024 profit. So that means if you were invested back in 2022 and now you are in 2025, mid 2025, or the first quarter of 2025, you actually made no money for 3 years. So it's a sharp drop for the QQQ starting for 2025. If you look at where we are now, we actually reach close to a drop of, just hold on, a drop of 25.8%. And now we touched the technical level of the strong support of 400, we have rebounded to 424. So we started the day by a huge drop in the market of about 5%. Now we are at plus or minus 0%, 0.5%, minus 0.5%. So we are quite not sure of where the direction of the QQQ is going, but you can see that there were a lot of bottom buyers at the strong level of 400. So 400 is a critical level for the QQQ. So now if we look at the S&P 500, the same, huh? You see, although it's not as dramatic as the QQQ, but you can see we have reached the level back of the high of 2022. Actually, yes, it is the same as the QQQ because you can see we reached the level of 476. And 476, when it touched it, we actually rebounded back to 500, which really means that the market is bottom fishing at the level back of the high of 2022. So it erased completely the gains of 2024. So for all the people who are excited to get the gains in 2024, congratulations, you have lost all your gains today. And it's not over. Maybe the volatility is going to continue, and then maybe it's not whole. But I think we are reaching quite critical levels in the market for the market to get worsened today. So the VIX, we had a huge increase of the VIX. I think it was more or less 30 to, I think, close to 20%. Now we are plus 7%, but the VIX has actually quieted down. But if you look at the level, no, we had actually an increase of close to 50, 60% actually in the VIX. Now the VIX has came down quite dramatically from the highs, which is good because the VIX that is coming down is quite a sign that the market is becoming more resilient and more quiet and more used to the noise. But you can see that we haven't reached the level back in the August last year, because August last year the VIX went to 65, 66, and now we are at about 48 and we reached the level of 60. It's actually it's a good sign that now there is a lot of bottom fishing and it's the right time in the market to start to make some shopping for company that has been now being cheaper than 2 months or 3 months ago. I mean, the VIX definitely is a strong indicator that it's time to buy. Now, if we look at IWM is probably the worst that you can see. I mean, we are back to 4 years ago. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, if you were invested back in April 2022, you're still at the same level today, you know? My God, this is frustrating. This IWM and small cap is very frustrating. I mean, losing so much of your profit. Look at that, you know? Almost 30% done. 30% done in just like a matter of 1 month. We have actually back to zero. Anyway, very frustrating, but this is life. You have to live with this. But I don't think that IWM will go much lower than it is today because, you know, it has been trading the same way from the last market collapse of 2022 and the one of today. So why would it go much lower than the level of 2022? I don't understand why it should be doing that. So I think we are quite safe today now to start a new position in IWM or just to top up your position in IWM. So if you look at the QQQ, no, sorry, Max 7, you know, depending on where you look at, Max 7 stable today, but it's a huge drop on Max 7. Huh? I mean, look at that, Max 7, hold on, huh? Yeah, that's it. Whoa, we have broken all the levels on Max 7. Now we are 35% down, back to the level of mid 2024. We have not erased all the gains of 2024, but if we go back to the level of 30, which means we're going to lose more than 50% from the highs, then we have erased all the profits of 2024 and 2025. So I don't think we're going to do that. But what we've seen is we have completely retraced back from the lows of August last year. You can see it touched the Fibonacci retracement of 100% and just rebounded from there. So it means that there are a lot of technical buyers and a lot of hedge funds are buying at those levels. But you can see that some of the Magnificent Seven, like Tesla, still continue to decrease slightly. And also Apple decreased 4% today, which is quite a lot for Apple. But some of the other Max 7, like Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Netflix, Nvidia, and Tesla, they are still doing quite well, and some of them are rebounding, like Nvidia plus 3.5 today, Meta plus 2.3% today, Amazon plus 2.5% today. So I mean, there are a lot of people now taking the opportunity to buy the Max 7 at this discounted price. From specific stock level, you can see AMD still stabilizing. Today minus 2.5%, but not so dramatic. Palantir has increased by 5%, which means a lot of buyers are taking the opportunity to buy Palantir, despite the high valuation of Palantir. So I don't really understand why they are jumping into these stocks, Still very expensive. SMCI plus 11% today, which is quite good, which shows that a lot of people are thinking that SMCI is very cheap and is worth buying, despite all the volatility and the risk aversion in the market. So maybe it's a good time to start a position in SMCI if you don't have stocks in SMCI. What else you can see? You can see Bitcoin very stable today, minus 0.14. So I think Bitcoin is holding quite well. I think for risk asset, it's just holding really, really well compared to other risk assets. You can see Ethereum today collapse, another 15%. Ethereum definitely is less strong than Bitcoin. So you should just know that maybe it's a good entry point. Maybe it's a good opportunity to buy Ethereum against the US dollar at 2022 level, 2023. And from here, maybe the upside is quite good because we reach a high level of 4,000. Now we 1,500, which means Ethereum retraced back almost 2/3 of its value since the all-time high, 62% of its value. Some people would argue it's quite a good entry point for Ethereum, which is the second best. I would say second best token or digital currency, like after Bitcoin. What you can see now on specific stock, I think we have covered the main one. Let's go now to see if there are any economic data we have to look at. Hold on. Today, Monday, nothing special, No, nothing very worth doing. Tomorrow as well, nothing really worth roaring on the economic data front. Wednesday, nothing at all. You get the FOMC minutes that's going to be released on April the 9th. Then on Thursday, you have the new job claims, jobless claim, continued jobless claim, core inflation, CPI data. So Thursday is quite a very important day for checking if inflation is in control or not under control. Then on Friday, you have the core PPI numbers. So I would say Thursday and Friday are two important days for the market this week. But other than that, I don't think you should worry up to Thursday. So if you look now on the Bloomberg headline, of course, all the scary headline, you can see they are playing with your fear. Trump say White House not looking at the tariff pause. Fed is unlikely to intervene in market turmoil. Central bank watcher says Trump threatens 50% more China tariff. It is his talk with others. Second most chart of President Trump. So basically all the fear mongering on the headlines today on the news. And this is not helping at all the market to get some footing because a lot of people are scared and they see all these headlines and they get scared even more. So I would say it's okay for people who are experienced in the market, who have been in the market for decades. They know it's a good time to buy, so they should keep buying. Maybe if you are too risk averse and you want to see if there is no further downside to go, maybe you can wait until next week. If this week the market stabilized and get some footing, then probably next week is a good time to start to invest a bit and DCA your investment, at least in some of the key part of the US equity market, like the small cap, or maybe top up some Max 7 who have retraced quite meaningfully and are now within the key valuation level on the low 20s. Low 20s for Max 7 is very, very good because they're still growing, but two-digit numbers, you know. You look at 20%, 25% for some of them. And of course, Tesla is a very, very, very risky Max 7 right now. But it seems like Tesla has found some bottom and find some stability around the level that it is today. It hasn't really varied a lot over the last few days. You see on the chart, it went to the lows of 215, 220, and now it's varying around 233. So it doesn't really collapse further than what it is trading for the 11th of March, 7th of March, still at the same level. So almost all months at the same level. So it's quite a good sign that the support level at this price is very strong. So other than that, there is not much to say about this market update. Once again, don't panic, don't sell, just be cool, be strong. You know, don't let your panic goes, and don't sell your good shares and your stocks to the Wall Street buyers and so on. So try to learn from history. You know, panicking is not a good strategy for the stock market, and especially when there is a crash. You have just to be patient. You have to stay into very strong investment and look at for the long term, at least for 1 to 3 years investment or 3 to 5 years investment. You will see in a few months' time you will forget about this tariff discussion and all these crashes. Then if you didn't take advantage of this drop, or worse, if you sold this drop, then you will regret to have done it. You know. Otherwise, thanks so much for this market update, and then we talk tomorrow after the market and see if the stabilization of this market continue as it is today. It opened really sharply down, but then you see at the closure of the market, it's not that much down. You know, it's mostly flat, and it seems that a lot of the noises, a lot of people now are starting to think deeply about what the consequences of this tariff, what will be the retaliation of this tariff, and what is the overall strategies and impact of this tariff on the US economy and the global economy. So let's watch tomorrow and let's see what will happen tomorrow. Thanks so much. Have a good evening. Bye.